We're on it tonight. Everybody brought their A game. That's good.
We had our brain food.
You know what I love about January 1st at midnight? Is the look on the guy at Walmart's face when it's 12:01 and you're like, I want a fishing license.
Let's go. Do you really shoot the halibut once you get him close to the surface?
We just shoot the halibut every Thursday.
Fellas, get back in that current.
I love it.
I hate
That's
you.
all right.
I hate me too, bud.
It's okay, Ryan.
I'm like a really fat branch.
Definitely.
Should we just fast forward to the part where I say, so you got skunked?
I have a question for you. So
You came to the right place, bud.
no, listen.
And we are back.
Nice.
Finally.
This is the Rutten River Pursuits podcast. And you are smack dab in the current. We are reality outdoor radio where our mission is to get you in the outdoors by connecting you to the people, skills, and products that you can trust.
You can trust them.
Hey, everybody, it's Bucky. Who do we have tonight?
I'm Catfish.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Will.
What is new with you, Catfish?
Kayak upgrades. Yak. Massive upgrades.
Where are you going that you need all these upgrades?
Stevie, by the looks of it,
I'm glad you asked.
he's going to go fight Sith Lord.
Oh, yeah.
Because of that light on the
With
back
his
of it.
lightsaber on
Oh
the
my
back.
gosh, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi's lightsaber on the back of there. It's a big, it's so bright it looks like
Got
a
it
blue
on
light
eBay.
almost, like
Your
it's got
shorts.
It is about equivalent to
Yours is
1.5
bigger than
billion
mine.
candle power.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of Schwartz.
I opened it up and UFOs landed in my driveway when I opened up the garage door to see where their ship was landed. Like it's bright.
Spaceballs the flamethrower.
It is bright. That's only one of 20 or 30 overnight upgrades I've done. That it's becoming a thing now.
Really?
Where are you going that you need all these upgrades?
I can't sleep. I can't work. It's either thinking about this trip or I want to be working on the yak.
Well,
I'm even making stuff I don't need now, just added to.
Before Stevie explodes, tell him where you're going, Catfish.
In a few days' time, we will be driving to Key Largo in the Everglades National Park.
Baby, why don't we go?
And if we go to the right, it'll be dark water mangroves. And if we go to the left, it'll be knee-deep, hip-deep, clear water beautifulness. We're right in where the water changes.
Oh, so you're going to be in the mix of
Everything.
you name it, right? Red, snook.
Manatees.
Well, you're not targeting man.
I don't know if you can catch a manatee on a Ned rig, but I'm sure somebody.
Are they protected?
Yeah, highly.
So actually, the
Yeah.
backwater permit that we had to pull to just fish in the area that we're in has a small questionnaire or something with it.
Yeah.
And
How many manatees did you harvest last year?
Yeah, it's to make you aware that propped boats can harm them. Now, we have 2 horsepower Hondas on the back of our kayaks. I'm pretty sure the manatee would harm our props. So, but in theory, they are right under the water and they're a gentle giant.
That would be a pretty cool experience to be close to a manatee.
I'm working on my manatee saddle to like quick clip.
Oh yeah.
I could totally picture you getting into the water.
Don't say saddle because the whitetail distraction guys are listening and they get all jacked up.
That's exactly why I brought it up. I can't have a podcast without saying saddle now that I listen to the Whitetail Distraction podcast. They have me addicted to the word saddle.
Oh, you just get all the hair on the back of my neck stands up.
Oh my goodness, it's true. I mean, if you're a saddle hunter, it comes up in every single conversation. Not that I listened to your podcast and I didn't pick that up at all.
Yeah, no, we don't listen.
No, not at all.
The whitetail distraction, what? Huh? They're super guys, and we talked about so many things. We shared a lot of fellowship with them over the last weekend of the show. They came out.
Old Austin and Charles.
Yeah, they only said Charles was coming.
Yeah.
So to have Austin and the whole
surprise,
the rest of the crew show up.
It was a treat for me for the first meet and greet with them to actually sit down and do a ending podcast.
Yeah.
I don't always click super quickly with somebody new. I have that.
That's
I
not
gotta,
true.
Feel it out for a second. Be like, who are you? What's going on? What do you do? But those guys were like, they were on it.
Yeah, their waiter hosen are cut from the same cloth as yours.
We share waiter hosen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Waiter hosen.
Yeah.
Waiter Hosen DNA. Yeah.
Speaking of waiter hosen, there's a new waiter hosen shelf on my kayak for my weight. Like, there's everything on it.
Is it really?
Really?
What else did you put on there?
Yeah, what'd you do? Give us.
Yeah, give us a rundown. 'Cause I know there's a list somewhere.
There's a list.
Yeah.
There's drawings.
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 Well, his name is Catfish.
And I love to drawings.
So there's a new battery box. First of all, the heart of the kayak. That has switches and USB ports and.
I was gonna say it's not just a box with. It can't just be a box with a battery.
It's electronics.
It's waterproof. It's got our RP ports in it, so that I've run wires all through the kayak. And if anybody knows about a new canoe Frontier, there's nowhere to get wires in a kayak. So it's difficult. So you take braided fishing line and a big nail and a heavy duty magnet. You can run it through the hull to where you want.
Oh, really?
And fish it out. So there's new, 5-foot tail whip on the back, tail whip light.
Hang on. Say that a little. Explain what you just said, because I think that is a very little.
idea.
That's some edutainment right there.
What?
How to run wires through a kayak?
Yes. Just can you just slow roll that? How
Like
you
you're
did that?
doing now.
Yeah.
Yes. So what
Can
happened?
you Bucky this topic for
Bucky
us?
the topic.
If you would like to
A
run a
little
wire,
bit more.
make sure you have one black one and one red one. Drill a small hole through the plastic above the water line. Then fish a small nail tied to 80-pound braid into the hole. Grab it with a heavy-duty magnet.
Yeah,
Just run it.
You have that like river magnet.
I do. That's exactly what I
Yeah.
use.
Is that what you're using?
It'll pick up a F-150.
Yeah. Before it's rusted out.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, they
But
got the
you slowly
obs-
just pull the
planned
nail
Eventually.
obsolescence.
Gotcha.
through the hull by the magnet grabbing the nail through the hole, and you can run it to anywhere you want. Obviously, not to the middle of the kayak.
Thank you. Because that's all. That's a head slapping DIY.
It took me 6 hours to figure that out.
Yeah. And
But I figured it out.
And if somebody could have just listened to that, it'd have taken them 5 minutes.
Yes, it works. It works really well. And obviously, you have to drill a hole in both where you want it to go.
Right.
And the nail itself will run down, and then once you see the point of it, you move the cut. You just wiggle the magnet without losing the nail, and the nail will actually pop out the hole.
Stevie, you think that'll work for our ice fishing downriggers?
The 50-foot pull noodle.
Oh, how strong is that magnet?
It'll hold a nail through about 12 inches of ice.
So perfect. Yes, I think we're onto something.
The trick is once you get the nail out the other hole, then obviously
How do you
then
seal
tie. Well, you got to tie your wires off to the fishing line,
Right.
and then you pull the fishing line, pull
Back
the wires
through.
out.
Then how do you seal everything back up, or try to make it as
Well, you so you
Kiss
buy
from a rose?
you buy a female electrical outlet and wire it to it, and then put it on with marine goop.
Gotcha,
and screw
gotcha.
it down, and then that way you have a plug, plug on both sides that you plug the light into, and then you plug the battery box into it. Then it's waterproof.
as much as I'd like to go down riffraff lane with you two, I happen to want to try to get a little kernel of education out there for
Kernel of Education reported for duty, sir.
It was a good question, Buck. It was a good
You
question.
guys broke me. I'm done for the rest of the show. But thank you, Catfish, for at least entertaining Serious Bucky for a little bit, because
You're
He's
good.
gone.
he's 86. Whoop out.
That's a totally simple process compared to wiring an ammo box with wires and lights and circuit breakers and fuses
USB ports.
and USB ports.
And now that you've wired this up, so what now?
So the whip light
The
itself.
what now
yeah.
is my boat needs done.
Yes.
But wait, we're not done.
No.
We just got the wiring. What
I'm
are
not
you?
doing
What's
all this work to yours until
what-
you get the new one.
What's connected to all
I'm
these
getting-
wires?
That's right. I got the new one coming.
What are you connecting?
Mine's for sale. Do you remember that?
The new
Take me there, like in a mental schematic here. What is now connected with these wires? What are we charging?
A lot of times with these battery boxes, guys will get these little 12-volt batteries that you see running game cameras.
Yeah.
And sometimes
I got two of them.
Yeah. A battery box will hold 2 or 3 of them if you don't put a lot of ports in it. Mm-hmm. I put a motorcycle battery in mine, so it's a little heavier, but I've run that 1,000,000 candle power tail whip light for 7 hours, and it went from 2.6 to 2.1 or 12.6 to 12.1.
It's got a kyber crystal in there.
Here's the trick to big, fancy, bright lights.
What's that, Bucky?
It's what powers lightsabers, buddy.
Oh, wow.
Stick with me here.
Stay with us, Will.
If you want to have
on my game tonight.
And I am not.
my goodness.
Kyber Crystal.
If you would like
Crystal
to have
Kybers was my math tutor.
Sorry, Catfish.
No, you're good, man. I love it when you have fun. Have fun all you want. That's what it's
Mr.
about.
Riff and Mrs. Raff got in the way again. No.
I love it when you ask me a question and it takes us 45 minutes to get to what's plugged into my battery box. That's a good current. Because, we're having fun.
Yeah.
I love you guys. I'm sorry. I'm just
This
trying
is
to
the
do a
first
little
time you've
play
ever been bothered by it. It's funny. Bucky is the pot calling the kettle.
Oh, I know. I'm loving it. I like this.
It's a new Bucky for 2020.
Bucky asked me how to run the wires.
Sure.
So here's the thing. Whether you have them 12-volt batteries or you have a motorcycle battery, whatever the case may be, it will fit in whatever box you're using. Should be waterproof. You asked me what was connected to it.
Yeah.
I have a long, they call it a whip light on a Jeep. What happens is at the end of this pole, I soldered on a high velocity LED light that comes out of a backup light on a Jeep or a car, BMW, whatever. It's a little light that uses for the backup light on a car.
Gotcha.
Solder that on, and then solder wires onto those 2 wires. And now this is the very tip of the tail whip light, the very top of it.
Right on.
You have this bright LED light. And I turned it on, and it was pretty bright. However, if you wrap 4 feet of that with LED light stripping the whole way down with white, it becomes magnificently bright.
Wow.
So that happened.
I
It was a little overkill, but I love it.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
That's plugged into the battery box.
I'm curious to see if that draws in bait
Mosquitoes.
fish for you.
It might.
Just like a submersible light.
The manatees might like it. My kayak looks like a big, giant, glowing angel manatee from underneath.
Just be careful a big old croc just doesn't start liking it.
So
either,
here's the thing. Where we're
Angel
going, that's a
manatee.
thing. And so
Yeah, I
we're
want you to
rocking
be
out.
safe as much as I want you to lock into some big fish, but that big light, bud.
It's gonna
be careful.
good. What else is plugged into it? Two
A
5
toaster oven.
Not yet.
I wouldn't doubt it.
A bagel oven. Not yet.
He's got to eat breakfast, or they got to eat out there at some
I'll
point.
get to that.
Or do you have a fire? You guys.
Now, what do? We say let's back up. I had about $1,500 to go on this fishing trip, and I've probably spent that on the kayak and stuff before I left. However, what happens is once you start upgrading, you can't stop. It's like people that get addicted to scratch offs or whatever they get addicted to.
Yeah, it's smack
So
at this point.
I have 2 5-inch by 5-inch LED
Kayak
spotlights
smack.
that are off the front. I put a brand new navigational system, Lowrance fish finder on it with a hidden sonar, all hidden wires. Technically, the sonar is wrapped, but you can't see it much. I have a new push pole / pull anchor.
Yeah.
That's all custom made. That's on the kayak that's wrapped around the side so it's out of the way. Oh my goodness. There's multiple lights plugged into it now. I also have new phone chargers that are permanent.
A crock pot in the back.
Yes.
Now, have you put speakers
Uncle
on
Seth.
there or anything so you can have
Seth
some music
McGinnis.
while you're?
The phone will be on the
And cook
Can cook it.
Gotcha. And you can always take a Bluetooth little speaker. The way those things sound anymore.
It has 6 new trolling
Jeez.
rod holders.
Oh,
my goodness.
I already had 4 rod holders. It has 6 new trolling rod holders.
You can go crappie fishing in that. I mean that,
And I got some heavy
You
duty
could
rod
go
holders for
crappie
the
fishing
front.
in that.
like with the spider
Sure.
rigging.
I have a brand new light out front that is So picture a piece of PVC pipe 4 foot long, wrap it with all LED white light strip. That's what picture you saw.
Yeah.
However, that's a metal pole. Up front, I took a piece of PVC pipe and heat gunned it and bent it and formed it to the front of the kayak. And I wrapped 3 feet by 3 feet in a V of that LED white strip and then connected it to the front of my kayak. So when you're driving along, it'll be like aircraft carrier lights in the water. So we'll be able to see them rocks on the Susquehanna now.
Sure.
It's ridiculously bright. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It sounds like you made another tune out of it, too.
I did.
It's like another flotation balancing.
You're going to have people like calling in like unidentified
Floating
object reports on this thing. I'm serious. Like this, I can't wait to. Like I've seen pictures.
No, not yet. I haven't taken any pictures of the.
No, yeah,
you just saw the tail whip light.
I haven't. He's saying words that I haven't seen before.
Juicer in the back.
There's been no pictures past the
Grabber
tail
in
whip
the
light.
front.
So anyhow, these upgrades are for a purpose. So we're going to go down to Key Largo. So the Lowrance has navigational chip in it, the nav chip. I did buy also the Navionics.
Did you?
For a year so that I could put, I have a 12-inch tablet looking thing. Will actually got it for me for Mother's Day.
I did.
Yes. That now is going to be separate from my fish finder and be my Navionics
Happy
chip.
Mother's Day, Catfish.
So I have a 12-inch big screen Navionics that will custom.
That's awesome.
Plugged into the battery box.
Dude.
It's getting there. My entire stand-up bar, I wrapped it with 550 paracord nice and tight so that I have that in case of emergencies.
You're going to have to wear like 50 SPF at night when you turn all those lights on too. But
it is. The cool part is that we actually rented a houseboat that is a tri-tune.
That's cool.
And so if you can picture looking at the front of a tri-tune, we have 2 parking garages, one for each kayak, up underneath the boat so people can't steal things. Or
Are you sure yours will fit underneath the...
If I take the tail whip light out, I believe, and fold the seat down, I mean, I didn't measure it from the water, but eyeballing it, I think I'm close.
Really?
Yeah.
And Logan's kayak is just the opposite. Logan is going with me. His kayak is bare bones. It's a seat and a cooler and a fish cooler with shrimp in it and, like 4 rods.
He's a bait ball.
He is a minimalist.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that being said, he's going to haul most of the gear out. So some of the things I had to buy was the little tiny handheld camp stove.
yeah.
Our plans are, even though we're on a boat that's moored out in the water, there are 2 islands that are 8 miles away to the west in the clear blue water. We're going to go out there and spend the night, one night, weather permitting. So we're going to do the whole camp thing, mountain houses and canned raviolis, whatever we decide.
Right on.
So I got this little...
camp stove. Backpack, hiking
Yeah,
stove.
and it has some pots and it goes in it. Blah, blah, blah.
Backcountry.
Jet boil?
Maybe.
Mess kit.
It's like a jet boil, but it has little pots and skillet with it to cook fish. Right?
Okay.
Yep, like a jet boil. I actually got 2 of them because I told Lacey you can't have one of anything. So, however, a new tent, the hammocks we had, but I bought at the Great American Outdoor Show, I bought the really good bug nets that go over them. I hear the no-see-ums are bad down there, which are
I'm so jealous
some kind
that
of
Logan
bug.
gets to be this small spoon on this trip.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little jealous. I am. I'm not little. I'm little.
This
I'm
is
real
what
jealous
happens
that
when we sleep
I
at
gotta-
the wheel. You know what I mean? Catfish throws out an invite, and you got
I know.
be. It's like ice fishing season.
I'm excited.
You drop what you.
Now I have someone competing for small spoon with Catfish.
I didn't take this lightly. The upgrades aren't the only thing. I've upgraded my body.
Yeah.
I've been dieting for 2 weeks for the most part, other than the smoked cheese, which I couldn't pass up because I bought a Traeger and Will got me a Traeger and I had to smoke cheese and eat like 2 blocks of that, which
How did
it's
that?
not a big
how'd
deal. I
that
won't
go?
crap for a month. So.
I was just going to say,
That's part of planning, so I don't have to poop down there in the water.
that's no Gouda.
I told Logan, I said, if we have a 22-hour drive, there is no pee stops. We're rolling. I got gas cans in the back.
That's
And,
right.
so I got some shots in my back and my elbows just to make sure it's good, to cover some high-level pain areas. If I can make the trip down, I can complain all the way back. I don't care about the trip back. Trip back always sucks. But if I can make the trip down and not lose my sense of adventure and hope through 22-hour drive's a long way. You know that. We've
Yeah,
done
if
it.
you can make it to Nipigon, bud, I
The
think
difference is that I had you in the passenger seat when I drove from Pittsburgh to wherever we got to.
Top of Michigan.
I was driving, and I had Bucky to talk to me.
Well, thank
I
you,
love
brother.
Logan. Don't get me wrong. Logan's not much of a conversationist. You're by yourself.
Yeah.
I honestly think Lacey and Logan probably should have met each other a long time ago because neither one of them ever talk. So it's just me at the house.
and you and I should have met.
You know what it's like at my house. Logan's sitting on the couch, Lacey's sitting on the chair, and I'm walking around. Gab, 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 gab. Nobody's listening to me. So
I do.
used to
I listen to you.
You and Bucky should have met.
they're right. You
I
have,
listen to you.
in the
Catfish.
last 2 podcasts and 3 hours from now, you haven't absolutely interrupted me one time.
I listen.
No.
Just you know what happens? He's listening to the Whitetail Distraction podcast where they interrupt each other all the time.
He's so distracted.
He's doing good. Do you want to go? Because here's the icing on the cake. We drive down. We fish for blacktip sharks, tarpon, snook, whatever, in the most beautiful place. Sea manatees, saltwater crocs. I'm making my harness for that sucker too. You know,
Bring your saddle for that
mangrove
thing.
snapper. Icing on the cake is we're leaving. We have 1 day to fish with Boog on the way back.
Oh, so we're going to see some peacocks.
Hopefully. And Boog even said that if 99% sure if he finds time, he will drive down and fish with us
Yeah,
for
he's
dinner.
got kayaks too.
Yahtzee.
Bucky, you know
It's
there's
gonna
an
be a
extra
three-spooner.
new canoe just sitting there, crying, waiting for some saltwaters.
If you buy Will's kayak, I will help you upgrade it.
If you just take it fishing, you can take
Upgrade
it
it.
fishing. If you take it fishing, he'll upgrade it.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Buckman are in the market for kayaks this spring, actually. So,
Not
Well, he's
kayaks,
talking about
the
next
kayak.
2 weeks from now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I wouldn't buy another kayak.
Oh, Bucky.
I wouldn't have put $1,000 into this kayak.
I
Oh.
invested a lot of time off in the surgeries, guys. I'm
Oh,
rebounding
Bucky.
back. We've got striper fishing that I've already committed to. The problem is you guys like to commit me to a lot of stuff.
I see
Thank
finger
you.
pointing going on.
Thank you, which
Crazy
I
finger
thank you
pointing.
for. I love it.
If you don't like it,
No, you guys are always throwing, and you know it's hard for Bucky to say no.
we're
to anything.
fastballing ideas at you.
Yeah.
Now, the missus is a minimalist. She just wants something that she can get in and
I don't know.
float a river.
The FS10 is perfect and cheap for that.
That's what I need to know.
Seat's comfortable.
and
She's
then-
down in it a little bit.
And then I want something that I can work on to make a
Fishing rig.
South Central Pennsylvania fishing rig.
I only know of one right now.
There's only one.
Yeah, unfortunately. And here's the thing. I said this same thing years ago about another brand of kayak.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe years from now I'll say something different. But right now in this time of you're listening to this podcast, even if it's 5 years old, the kayak on the market is the new Canoe Frontier 12. And I'm not even sponsored by them. But
No.
I will tell you that.
None of us are.
A 12. Now, 12, is that the length of
It's a 12-footer, yep. Frontier
Now-
12.
You don't recommend a bit. Is there a longer one?
14.
Right. Okay. Why wouldn't Bucky want a 14?
Because Frontier is more stable, it's wider. And that extra 2 feet really doesn't do anything for you unless you want to walk the whole way to the back and get whatever that little extra 1.5 of space is that you threw a raincoat
I
or
did.
something.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It doesn't do anything for you.
Plus 12 foot.
It's heavier.
much more manageable getting it on
Harder.
and off a truck or trailer or even
It's more yak to push around with a paddle. Right.
or a trolling motor or whatever.
Well, that's the thing. If you don't have an electronic trolling motor with like a key fob on it or a remote, then you have to get up and walk to the back of that sucker to pull the power cord on the starter cord on a Honda. I can turn around my seat and reach it.
Yeah.
So I don't see where the extra 2 feet does you any good unless you're literally going on a 2-month camping excursion and you want extra storage. That would be the only thing.
When I didn't hate mine whenever I was camping for the weekends. Like that, because I had it piled up with
Gear.
gear. Yeah.
See, that's so cool.
That's really what
That's
I'm working
really
on
cool.
now is I have a lot, and I'm trying to knock it down to the bare minimum, but I have the camping gear on my kayak. And the food. So I'm trying to figure out where everything is going, and I've bought new water like waterproof bags, to big duffels that are more squared. I've put new netting on to keep them secured.
Watch those bags. They leak. So I don't know what you got, but
it's all camping equipment in that one. The food's going in my Engel.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Like the Engel I used as like a locker for a lot of things. But some of those bags will leak on you. Yeah. Over time, if they're just soaking, then they leak.
Eventually they'll.
But
a lot of this stuff, once we get out to base camp, we can drop off.
You're fine, yeah.
Yeah.
And hang up. And
my Engel cooler will be then our, double 2 liters of ice to turn into water to cook with.
Yeah.
And some food when we go out.
In the interest of fairness, too, like I just want to quantify it. I bought my kayak from Logan.
Correct.
And there was 6 gigantic holes in the hull.
There was on the deck.
That I didn't know were there. And my kayak was filling up over the course of the whole weekend.
Yeah, if you put a deck mat kit on it, you have to check it. Yeah.
Yeah. And he said it, he told me about it, like, first of all, like I would understand what.
Like you've had one for 5 years.
But the problem is like, that was the thing, was I was taking on water and it was, my stuff was just laying in water.
Right.
So
you were drafting more water than you should have been.
I mean, I was fine. It was just, it started listing and all that stuff. And it's
a cool testimony though, that it can do that and still not go under.
That's right.
It's cool.
And it took that amount of time. And
what did we do to fix it? I don't remember.
Oh, I bought stock in Flex Seal.
And patched it up.
I just Flex Sealed it, everything.
I think that a lot of these, so there were some stress points that I've seen on a lot of the new canoe pages where some of the older models did crack in certain spots, and I haven't seen that any in the newer ones the last 2-3 years.
Yeah, I
think they figured that out.
I have a new bottom. I mean, the whole thing's Flex Sealed. Right. I didn't even try to.
But that's perfect. Honestly, if you bought a new one, you almost should do that anyhow.
Sure.
That
keeps the sun off the plastic.
Absolutely. I like that idea. Actually, I might do that with mine.
Yeah.
So I already spray painted half of it black.
I don't know why yours isn't rhino lined.
I thought about it, other than the fact that it's heavy.
Yeah.
It adds weight.
Does it?
Flex Seal really doesn't add a whole lot of weight.
No, it doesn't. No, it fixed it right away. I bought the putty for the holes.
Right.
The thick stuff, the silicone stuff. And then I sprayed over top of that.
Nice.
So
and that's all she wrote. You'll probably never have to worry about it again now.
I don't think so. Mm-mm. I hope not.
Well, you went from, Bucky says he's in the market for a kayak, and Will went from multiple kayaks and then using the ones that I had on Mother's Day where we tipped them, and back in the day they were fairly stable kayaks.
Yeah.
And to a weekend long trip down to Juniata, and for the most part he wasn't even miserable. He was happy when he got back. And that in itself that in itself is a selling point to anybody who would say, I'm looking for something that's usable. If Will can use it for a whole weekend, then a one night out or an afternoon out.
Sit up off of it.
Yeah.
And
they have a new riser set on the new one that the seat's 2 inches higher.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It has storage on it.
I know between your back and Will's practicality and affinity for comfort.
So I'm glad you brought that up. It's an hour and 15-minute ride home roughly for me here if I do the speed limit from the Podcastle. After working all day and coming up here and going home, my back hurts badly. My legs fall asleep. So this isn't just a fishing trip. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is an adventure for me. I mean, there are some essences of danger, weather, thunderstorms, being 8 miles offshore with a kayak, big fish, crocodiles, whatever the case may be. None of that bothers me, and I'm not up to being tough as much as the journey. So
sure,
the pain that will be involved sit in the truck for 20 plus hours, get out, unload kayak, sit in a kayak, and then sit in a kayak for 4 days, and then pretty much getting a really good hot shower boogs on the 5th day before we drive 20 some hours home. it's a challenge. It's a legit challenge for me to make the trip. Because remember, it was a challenge years ago for my 40th birthday to go to Canada, and I had an RV with a bed.
Yeah.
I don't have that. I have a Tacoma, which isn't very big, loaded down to the T with stuff in the back seat where the seat don't go back.
And you don't have a Bucky to take care of you either, to make sure that you're drinking enough. You have some ibuprofens on board.
That point's been covered multiple times because you refuse to go.
Well,
I've said you need to go down.
Yeah, he needs you.
It's 3 days off work. It's a Thursday, Friday, Monday.
You could
and I have a third kayak with a motor sitting 25 yards from me right now. Something to think about, Buck.
If that.
The houseboat's already paid for.
Stop the recording.
And
all right, we're back.
Yeah, we're doing minimalist food type stuff like Velveeta shells and cheese and rice with some fish and mountain houses.
Sous vide venison.
Yeah, sous vide venison with snail caviar.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Like I said, shut the recording off. We'll talk.
Anyhow, Bucky asked me what was happening. That's a lot to
talk
about.
Kind of
when you hit me with the look that you shot me, and
I don't think you have anything.
Bucky didn't.
Who's Bucky? You keep talking about Bucky as if he's another guy.
R2 Buck.
I have to say it like that, or else I'll start sobbing on here because the empath in me felt Catfish.
Well, he knows because I wouldn't have made it through some of the painful times without Buck laying in bed spooning with me saying, buddy, you'll get through this. This bed's uncomfortable. The mosquitoes are biting your ass, whatever the case may be. We're sitting in literally the most uncomfortable boat in the world up there, but we made it work. And we had a blast because the adventure of where we were is what made it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been the same without you or Bucky.
It's who you're with too. I think it's I'm going to tell you that 100% it's who you're with.
It wouldn't have been the same if you guys wouldn't have went.
I agree. I would.
Buck, do you did you do anything this week?
I have turkeys on the brain, guys. I've been thinking about turkey hunting a lot. We need. I've already been listening about what I need to be doing. And I'm fairly new at this. I think I need to be out in the woods right now, listening in the evenings or in the mornings.
Not yet. They'll move. They'll move from their wintering trees.
I need a turkey vest. I want to start gearing up, and I need a 12-gauge shotgun.
So you're gonna get addicted. Yes.
I have a 12-gauge for sale.
You'll start. No, you don't.
Oh.
No. That didn't take me long to say that. No, but
we'll talk about this offline too.
Yeah, once you start to get some of the gear together, it gets addicting too. Yeah,
and we've just been and we talk about I've been looking forward to spring so much. I've been wanting to spring forward.
There's a lot going on. Yeah,
striper fishing is I've made that my 2020 resolution, and that is forefront. But hunting wise, turkey.
Yeah,
turkey.
Archery leagues have started, or they've been in. I've just haven't gotten around to.
You shot your first round, right?
Yeah, I shot a couple first rounds. The Kinsey's League, the Techno Hunt League started. Leanna and I are in, and then Adam Wood and I are doing the Extreme Archery one in York,
which is an indoor 3D.
Yeah, and that's super fun. It's just one of those things that you can really start to hone that accuracy.
Absolutely.
Because you get the reps, you get the time in, you put the reps, the arrows downrange, and you're getting distances out to 30 yards.
Correct.
The Techno Hunt, you're just shooting 20 yards.
Right.
The whole time.
I like the different angles. The animals are in different angles. There's tree branches in the way. It feels.
It can be slightly over 30 yards, but basically you're using your 30
it's out
pin.
To 34 or something.
33, 34. But you're using your 30 pin no matter what.
Correct. It's very cool because some of it can mimic shots that you would take in the woods. Bobcats on logs, whatever. Right?
Yeah, round trees, all that stuff. He has a gator this year.
Correct.
He has a grouse.
Mm-hmm.
The crow is the worst.
It's little.
Well, and it's black.
It's smaller than the groundhog, ain't it?
No, that's pretty. I think that's pretty.
The
small.
groundhog's pretty small.
What else does he have? He has an armadillo.
I have never shot that one.
Yep.
Which, with all those weird like ridges in its shell, who knows where the 10 ring could be? Everything would look like a 10 ring.
Yeah, I go off that back leg, and it's just up from the back leg. I try to. That's kind of like the general rule for most of them.
Absolutely.
But that gator's stupid.
I think we could do an entire podcast on target 10 and 12 ring placements on 3D targets and where they should be versus where they are.
Right.
Yeah.
They have a gar.
Really? He did buy the garfish?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep.
I'd like to shoot that anyhow. That'd be cool.
It's pretty crazy. It's like you have to really be on to get that one.
And for people that have not been there, just a visual, it's a really nice range. And he has excuse me. He has fake Christmas trees for trees and branches and trees in the way, and it's very cool and it's different every week.
Yeah, he lays it out differently every time. So that's kind of cool for the people shooting, is you're not shooting at the same thing. Although I will say this, like once you kind of understand your bow and the distances,
right,
then it becomes kind of automatic.
Then it becomes form and whether you shot the shot right and kind of knowing the targets. Once you know where the scoring rings are, right, then it becomes, did I do mechanically everything or fundamentally the same way?
The distances are number one. Your first week, you gotta, that's a factor.
Right.
But the third week, fourth week, it starts to be the automatic. Then it's like it's you versus the target.
Now, being a guy that doesn't know crap about these leagues and the etiquette or protocol or whatever you want to call it, can you use rangefinders, or is that like people laugh at you?
Not in the league. Yeah, you can use them whenever you're practicing.
Okay, but not during the official league. Okay, cool.
You can use
at least I can come in there and say, all right, now I can target that. I can distance that target.
If you have a nice set of Burris binos, that's what the biggest advantage is you can use those and you can see where
the scoring rings
are.
Actually, it's not even laughing at people. Actually, to go to an outdoor 3D shoot where you can shoot out the, whatever crazy yardage, 100 yards on some over the pond shot, shots and stuff. But, the majority of your outdoor 3D shoots are like 30 yards and under for if you shoot the one peg. And that's the one I like to shoot because that's hunting to me.
Yeah.
Using your rangefinder on a course like that without scoring yourself just is a really great way to, you guess, you take in a factor. So what happens when you try to judge yardage outside is you look at the target, you pick something, this is how I do it. I pick something halfway between me and the target, and I try to judge that yardage because it's easier to judge it halfway, and then I double it. That's how I judge yardage in the outdoors. So if I have a tree that's I don't know how far away that is, and I look at something, I pick a perfect halfway point in a straight line and go, how far is that from me? Well, that looks like that's about 11, 12 yards. Like it's easier for me to judge 12 yards than it is 22, and then I'll double it. If you then take the rangefinder and check yourself, your brain can then start to teach yourself how to judge yardage. Go, well, I was off. But don't just go, I was off. Why was I off?
Yeah.
Look at and study it again and go, okay, so then after that, then you pick out something that was halfway point. When you can pick out a halfway point between your target and you can judge yardage very proficiently. That's how I learned to do it. And the rangefinder can, not joking aside, or you said people laughing at you, it can be an ultimate tool to learn to judge yardage when you don't have it. For later down the road for that shot.
Mm-hmm. I spend most of the morning daylight, picking out trees, getting crazy with the rangefinder because once I study those distances.
You build an imaginary ring around you at 20 yards, whatever.
Yeah, and then I don't honestly have my rangefinder after that.
You don't need it if you memorize the ring, right? Correct.
And for every sit after that, because I'm sure you pretty much maybe one more after that.
No, I do. I do it every morning. I do it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, just because it's so fresh and you can. But like on that course, you're looking at like the wall, the back wall. You're looking at the little outcropping wall that's 25 yards for me, or you're looking at the first row of trees, which is probably going to be close to 20 yards or 18 yards. So it's like you kind of build that construct inside. Then the same construct that you would build inside is the one you're doing outside too. So
and inside during leagues, you can be off a yard and still be good, with your judge. When you're hunting, you can be off 4 yards and still have a good kill shot. But if you're off 4 yards in a league at 33 yards, that's the difference between, on a groundhog, that's the difference between a 12 and a 5. So that's a big difference.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm a recipient of a rangefinder this year, and
I put the ground blind down.
I
put the ground blind down. I put the gauntlet down. I said, Buck, you got to go to Brickerville with us.
Yeah.
You have to go.
It's an amazing place.
Like you can't not do it. It's something
so
you have to
gorgeous
experience.
to walk through the mountains alone. And there's literally, so they're 30 target courses. A lot of times, sometimes 20. They have a dead 20-yard hammer course, 20 target hammer course.
We won't have to shoot that.
No, you don't want to shoot that. So
you don't have enough arrows.
You literally shoot through PVC pipes to hit your target and things like that. So anyhow, and so people break this down. If you go through a 30 target outdoor 3D course, you literally just put yourself in 30 hunting situations to make a good shot on an animal. Tell yourself in your head, this is a live animal. I can't screw it up.
Right.
This has to be a kill shot or no. Now you can go through and wing some arrows, make some good shots and bad shots. But if you use that tool that you're going to get that, because you might want to go through it and other guys aren't using it, be like, oh, I don't want to be the only one using a laser rangefinder.
Right on. If
you use it and start to teach yourself and slow down on everyone and go, I want to be able to walk up and go, I want to be within 2 yards of my mind what that animal is. The laser rangefinder is a perfect tool, and Brickersville is a great place to learn it because there's up and down shots and over creeks.
And why wouldn't you do it for that? Isn't that why these opportunities are for us out there? Like, I mean, for you guys, it might be different. You've done it since you guys were
Pride leagues. Things like that, tournaments.
But for a guy like me, that seems like a perfect opportunity
Absolutely.
to go and hone.
You have to be careful. There's etiquette. So if you're using it, somebody else may not want to use it. You just have to keep it to yourself.
Or just your group find out. You guys using rangefinders, you care if I do,
right?
Whatever. That's obviously communication's always
it too serious.
Yeah,
but honestly, there's no better way.
I've golfed in a group of guys, and it's the same type of situation. Or
when you
hunt, or whatever.
What club should I use?
There's the same kind of guys in every group, and as long as you're, hey, this is my level, and this is what I'd like to do.
I like to know. I like to know because I struggle with distance. You know what I mean? I struggle. Yeah.
I didn't know that. We can work on that.
Yeah, I struggle with distance. That's my biggest weakness. Like 20.
I struggle with distance in the dark.
That's always a problem.
What's 40 look like 30? Not that we're shooting arrows in the dark.
No, but like
Brickersville does have a night shoot.
They have the coon hunt. Yeah. That's funny because they have their
bead eyes,
the eyes that glow. So you have to. Not only do you have to shoot,
you have to shoot
5 years ago. The eyes. This is funny. Like 7 years ago or 8 years ago, whenever we first started going to this thing, like our headlamps weren't as bright as they are now.
Not the one I just bought. The new one I just bought's ridiculous.
The one we have, the ones that we run now, like you can see.
You can see the raccoon. Not just the eyes.
Yeah.
Fully illuminated.
Back then, it was like you had to pick the side of the eye.
And you didn't know what yardage it was. You had to try to guess.
Yeah.
In the dark.
So it was really. I mean, it's still very.
Now,
fun.
would you guys go back and kind of go and limit yourselves?
No. I'm losing $70 worth of arrows.
Again.
Yeah, all right.
It was fun.
Because I'd be the exact same way. No way am I losing that amount of money in arrows.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. Stuff happens, but
I would set yourself a goal. You said stripers,
right?
And you wanted turkey hunt.
Yep.
I would absolutely. And this is just me telling you because I've known you for a long time, and I know that stuff's been on the back burner. That
if you like to trust a brother, this is something.
I think Brickerville should be on your must-do list. And there's a Saturday and Sunday, so you don't have to just go. It's not one day.
You don't have to go the night one. You just pick Sunday morning, Saturday morning.
There's 5-6 courses. You only shoot one if you want to.
Yeah.
So, because one's a long walk, you can shoot. If you take your time, two takes a long time. It's up through the mountains.
And they have that cool auction in the afternoon.
I'd get yourself in a new canoe, too, and try to catch catfish.
Sounds like we just might as well figure this is a whole day thing, right, guys?
Yeah.
Well, I just bought all this camping equipment. You can go up and camp out there.
You could camp there.
I know somebody that has a camper.
Do you guys need...
Uncle Stevie.
It sounds like...
Uncle Ron.
Ron has one.
Chef Chuck Wagon.
Chef Chuck Wagon? You slow rolled that one, but is that what you said?
Yeah, Chuck Wagon.
Yeah? What about it?
Shoot and cook for us?
Yeah.
I like it.
Need me to come up and cook for you?
Yeah.
They have the crappiest burgers that taste so good.
I know.
Really?
They're like grade D, but heaven.
But when you get off the course...
But what I'm saying is, do we need to, like, R2 tailgate, like...
Yeah,
kind of show these boys.
We're all about it. Whatever you want to do.
There's a lot of camping people there. There's hundreds of people there camping, and they
whatever you want to do.
Like, like cook some venison up,
all kinds of stuff. You don't. I would love for you just to experience.
They have
it's wonderful.
They have electric in some of them. We should just take one of the triggers.
And if anybody listening is going to go, please tell us you're going. Let's shoot together.
I know. I'd like that.
Let's hit around together.
Here's the problem. Just like the Great American Outdoor Show, even if people are there that you know, once they start heading to a course, they're gone all day. You never. It's like you don't see them anymore.
Yeah.
Even though you're together,
there could be 50 people there that you know and you never see them.
Last year we shot around with Josh from Kinsey's and his girlfriend. It was really cool. He's a machine, stupid machine.
Like,
just
for you guys to say that.
He's a machine.
10.
Yeah.
10.
And he's not using a rangefinder.
10.
And
8. It's time for a hamburger.
And Catfish didn't like.
I wasn't there, but I heard about it.
Okay.
No,
I had to work.
Like I was like, Josh, how far is that? It's whatever.
He was doing the point, wasn't he? Like,
he would tell you exactly how far it was, and it was just. And it was like, it was stupid. I'd rangefind it just to fact check, And
I'm not that good at it, but there are guys that can look at something and tell you.
Play an over and under with you?
They just know that's 33 yards away.
Yeah.
They computes quicker because they've done all the little skills to the point where it's like backing your car out of the driveway.
He's not an idiot savant. He's done the work. Like, he's put in the time, the homework.
Well, that's the only way you can get like that.
I couldn't back down my boat down my steep driveway very easily the first time, but now I do it while I'm on the phone and finishing up poppers and and he's the same way.
Just like guys can do boats or ships when they're piloting the they do it
practice.
So
hours.
I think it'd be beneficial for you. I mean, if we can make one recommendation of a must do for you this year,
Brickersville.
Please do Brickersville.
I would even give up Brickersville if you would come kayak catfishing with me one time, but I would like to see you do
He doesn't like fishing at night. He's afraid of the water.
Why are you trying to defy me? Just let me
fine.
out of the cage and where I land, I land.
Care.
I'll be there.
Look at Uncle Catfish.
Did you not get me to Nipigon?
Yes.
I'll get you through one night of catfishing.
Well, I know
you gotta have
will.
trust.
I know I have. I want to go. I want to do this.
You haven't
do.
done it.
what do you need from me, guys? Really, what do you need? Like right
put your
now,
ass
what do
in
you
the seat and come out in the nighttime?
Anchor up with us.
Short of us needing to pass time until it gets warm enough for Uncle Buck to want to be on that river.
I don't know about past time till it gets warm. I'm going to be in 85 degrees next week.
I know you will, you cockroach, but this summer I will be in a kayak with you fishing catfish. That will happen this year.
You've been in the kayaks in Lake Mead. You loved it.
Yes.
It's the same thing, just in dark.
I want to. I absolutely want to. Other than my family trip to Oak Island, North Carolina.
Yes.
I have no other desire but to tear the local outdoor scene up around here.
Well, Brickerville is a good start, and it really ain't that far away. It's closer for you guys than it is for me.
Yeah.
There's too much to do around here. I almost want to make a point of it. Like, why do you need to spend all this money to travel, to even go to the shore when we have South Central Pennsylvania?
You know what I love about this episode?
I was thinking that. Yeah. I always got that in my heart.
You know what I love about this one is we literally spent the first half an hour in the current.
Yeah.
And then we spent the next half an hour in the future.
It
was pretty cool. It was
future current.
Plans.
Holy cow.
2020 plans.
We just did a Back to the Future podcast.
Yeah. And here's the thing. You know me. I love you too very much. So we're going to do this. We're going to let it go because we literally, the three of us, could sit here until morning and talk about stuff like this.
Future plans.
It's been over an hour, so we're going to.
After Nipigon with you boys after Nipigon, there's nothing I wouldn't do with you fellas.
There you go.
Because there's too many memories in that bag for me. And
I'm excited. I think this is going to be, honestly, like, you've had a ton of growth over the last 3 years. I think this is going to be your biggest year if you let it happen. Yeah. But this is going to be your biggest year.
I'm a bag in the wind, boys.
You got rid of the bass boat to the Oles. There's no reason not to. You don't need another big boat if you just want to do some bass fishing and catfishing and I'm going tarpon fishing. You know, we can take them to Soda's Point.
I left a lot of baggage
cheaper than
behind me. Like 2020, like I keep on saying this, 2020 is a whole new beginning for me. I left a ton behind. I purposely
decloseted. Take everything out of the closet. Chuck what you don't need.
I culled my belongings. My mental baggage. Whatever you guys.
Is that a Missouri thing? Cold?
Cold.
Is that like Pennsylvania?
Cull it. Yeah, I culled it out. I killed the unnecessary. The weak.
You redded it out.
I redded it out.
Okay, I got you now.
I culled it out. Yeah,
speaking my language.
Yeah, redded. I never understood that term until the 2 weeks. In Pennsylvania Dutch term, redded it out. I thought you all were reading up on something or studying something, not straightening it up and cleaning it up, organizing. I didn't realize that. I'd love it.
You got to read it out sometimes.
Yeah, now it that one definition, understanding that opened up a whole new world for me as far as now I can understand half of what my wife said in the last 20 years with redding up and her grandma.
Yeah. So, but I think that, this is going to be a great year for you. I know that you did a lot of work to get here. But this is a very exciting time.
Let's bring it on.
Put all those skills you've learned now to the test this year. You didn't, because you've come a long way.
I don't have no in my heart, boys, and that's the thing. Like I've removed obstacles, and that's where I'm at now. Like I have very few obstacles in front of me. And I can say this out loud because I purposely did this because I did not want to ever say again, but this or but that. Now I'm like, okay, let's go.
You know what I would like
what
to see?
What do I need?
Yeah.
You know what I'd like to see for Bucky, honestly?
What's that?
I don't know how many miles that truck has on it. I know you're attached to it. I don't know how much longer it will last, is what I'm saying. I'm not picking on it, but I got a point.
He doesn't even know.
What? He doesn't.
Bless his heart.
So,
Catfish. I got to tell you something.
Did you get a new truck?
I didn't get a new truck.
Your truck died?
I got rid of that truck.
Why?
It's
I like
gone.
that truck.
Because
he got a
state
Civic.
didn't like it.
So what'd you get?
The bed was rusting, and
yeah.
Yeah. What'd you get?
I haven't gotten anything yet.
Okay, so this is my point.
Yeah.
He's lying.
What do I need?
He got a Civic.
Did he?
He didn't want to tell you.
Is that the thing outside?
Yeah, that little white car.
I thought that was Leanna's car.
No.
What I really think would be cool for you now that you're that you're above 40 years old.
What's that?
I think that it'd be cool to get a little truck with a little bed camper, so that you could just go no matter where you are. You're like, I'm tired. Jump in the back and crash. But it's a small little truck that you don't have to pull anything. Right.
I thought about one of those, and you even said you could build it. One of those simple top tents.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Whether it's fancy or not fancy or whatever, as long as you're comfortable in it.
Yeah.
I would like to see Phil Buckman down the road actually be able to not have any, where are we going to stay? Let's go. Let's go is the point. Let's go.
Yeah. I don't need a
place.
lot.
All you need is a place to sleep, something to drink, something to eat.
And if I could just get in every 36 hours to take a shower. I don't even need one once a day.
I'll put an outdoor shower on that sucker.
And I can deal with a cold shower because as long as I'm clean, I'm okay. I get to a certain point, I don't care if it's cold.
Gotcha.
I just need to have soap on my body.
I would like you to feel that you are free to say, let's go. That's what I hope for you down the road. Let's go. You say it. You can't have no in your heart, bud. Say,
let's go.
That's it. Let's go.
That's all I'm going to say. Let's go. Let's do it.
Will started this by looking at me and going, they sell cow tags or cow elk tags over the counter. He said, let's go. I went, you started something. I'm actually on a Tacoma going to try to get something rigged up. I talked to Will about it. Yeah. Like what we saw.
And you talk about, and you put the caveat of not even towing it behind you, but I even think that those tow behind campers, little pup tents, but yet you can still stow a couple of kayaks on top of that. You have the back of your bed. I mean, they do open up your game a little bit more as far as extended reach, and
there are certain ones
how
that
long
will do it.
Yeah.
But like gut road and stuff, you can't turn around.
Right.
That's the only part that I don't like about it. So I'd have an amazing kayak trailer. I would have already built one if I wanted that. But I don't want a trailer with me. I just want the truck.
Because
so
that trailer's more of an encumbrance.
It is.
It could be.
In backcountry. So I don't want to go across a creek or a Juniata River if I want to go across it and have water coming in my little camper, teardrop camper. That's all.
I agree with that. But when we talk about backcountry roads and all that,
take me home
and trailers, the only thing that makes that says that that's not a valid point is our goat road trip with Tyler. That's
what I'm talking
about. Up to Walleye Cove.
That's what I'm talking
about.
Up to
Birthday Cove.
So picture pulling into where the boat ramp was.
Oh,
remember
my
the rocks we had to move to get the trailer down?
Just to get, because it sunk. Oh, yeah.
There's no other person on earth other than Tyler Dunn that could have swung the trailer around.
Yeah.
And a crew that he had with him to help him get that trailer down there.
If it wasn't, so there's some essence of being able to pick up 10 times your body weight when 6 million mosquitoes are biting you in the back because we had to pick the boat trailer up and move it.
Or dig rocks out of the ruts.
Yes, you want back in the truck fairly quickly.
Sure.
There's motivation there.
That trip was I hate to even...
It changes.
It was an adventure.
We were Sherpas. We Sherpa'd that trip even.
What do you mean? You led somebody?
Well, you had to put some sweat equity into it. You literally we carried a little bit of the load. This time downhill though, literally digging a rock. So because the ruts were so bad,
the trailer bottomed out. The boat was sitting
the middle of the boat,
and the wheels weren't touching the ground.
Because
we had to climb under the trailer and dig it out
because of the hump there. And literally, we were digging that hump down just so we could get
to the boat ramp.
Sounds like a 90s song.
Which wasn't a boat ramp. It was some dude with a tractor that knocked the weeds down.
The Humpty Dance.
Yeah, and then
I'm hoping
that it was two wash-off ruts that happened to make...
It worked, though.
Yeah.
It was an adventure.
God love it.
But I know that thing changed a lot of how, even I can tell that trip has affected how you plan for Florida.
I'm done. I'm packed.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's influenced how you plan for different trips now. How you know, and the things that we do. We learned a lot in a short amount of time by being completely off the grid almost.
For the first time ever, I don't need extra stuff, but I don't need top of the line stuff, but I will not settle for, when I buy something now, like headlamps and all.
Yeah.
I'm looking for quality, but not a name. I don't need to buy a Mercedes-Benz, but I don't really need a Jetta. I'm looking for.
I learned a word for that a long time ago, and they call it being frugal.
Here's the funny thing:
you're not tight, and you're willing to spend money, but on quality.
I want to take what I need.
Yes,
the name thing in the light realm, is not a thing. Like if you buy a big name like headlamp company,
right?
They're not bright.
They're not. They're not any brighter than what I just bought.
You'll pay more for a lot
name.
less.
Yeah. Is that like in? And I'm not going to name names like in the. I think of the cooler business.
There's not a lot of other
it's the same thing. Lights and coolers are a lot of the same technology, just slapping different names on it.
Yeah, I don't know. You can visibly see a difference. I mean, I don't know. Coolers are hard to detect.
What's inside of them or whatever.
Yeah, how do you who's better than who or whatever. When you turn on a light, you can see the difference. And I will tell you, when you pick out a big brand name, it typically I buy lights every time I go to.
You have
your fetish.
You have a small problem with headlamps.
I do.
It's your addiction, man.
He opens up the door of his truck and they just fall out.
The weirder.
Yeah, I did it again, bud.
The weirder the name, the brighter the light.
Yes.
The more foreign the name, the brighter the light.
I literally just bought
some great South African lights
I have
out
no
there.
clue.
I bought a TH01, if any, and it was like 30 couple bucks.
Yeah.
Was that something from Star Wars?
No, it's
TH01.
It is. It's an aluminum housing, but it is and it's rechargeable. Since I have new battery box, that's what I wanted. That sucker. Remember the one that you gave me?
Yes.
Or one of the 7 that you gave me, but the one that was really bright that I was like, we could raccoon hunt with this in trees.
Both of you have several of my lights.
Yes. It's just like that, but it doesn't have the battery and the wires.
Yeah.
It's super smaller, lighter weight, and it's all aluminum. But the price of that headlamp with the one button technology to click it on and off and then hold the button down to change modes would have been $100 5 years ago.
Right.
If not more. And we have headlamps nowadays that are still in the hundreds of dollars range that have this better technology, maybe not as quality, but I can go buy a $180 headlamp, which is top of the line headlamp.
Sure.
And I can go to a hardware store and buy one that is just as bright. Crazy, people might not think that's true, but it is.
It's true.
We've bought headlamps.
We have them. I buy them every other week.
For what? What are they? $20, $30?
$30.
Yeah. So if you get a year out of it and it breaks, get another one.
Yeah.
And you're still only $60, not $200 in. So it's a no-brainer sometimes. So the reason I got mine is mine floats and it's aluminum, and I don't want to lose it.
Guys,
I'm going to need one.
It sounds like adventure.
We're going to need
It's adventure.
3.
It's 2020
That's
adventure
right.
year.
I think so.
I'm going to need guys. So, Bucky, I don't ask for help very often at all. But I am going to probably need some help if I build the rooftop camper. Holding things in place while I tack aluminum and stuff like that.
I will always hold your tools, Catfish.
There you
I've
go.
always said that.
That's perfect.
I'm not a handy guy, but I can hold tools. I can cook a
You're
meal.
a handsy guy.
And I can provide moral support. But
I tell you what, we're going to do this. I've not done this on the podcast before. I haven't asked my listeners for help before.
Yeah.
I'm going to start. If anybody's listening to this, I'm looking to build a custom rooftop camper. Now, I can build the frame, so I don't need your help. But I will need anybody who knows how to cut or fit the pop-up canvas.
Yeah.
It's beyond my realm of knowledge. I don't want to. I would like some anybody that knows how to do that. get a hold of us. I'd like to talk to you. Maybe we can work something out.
Sure.
I'd like to know that. I'm
Bucky's
not good with
entertaining
canvas.
and cooking.
Bucky's cooking on the trigger.
Yeah,
I didn't
I'll
even
entertain.
We didn't even say what was.
Oh, we didn't even get into that.
I'm in love.
But
we're out of time. So
Yeah.
we'll save.
I'm so glad you have a Traeger, that you both have a Traeger.
Welcome to the club, brother.
2020.
Like when I saw you, let's get into it for a second. I have to.
I felt like an outcast the very first time I started it up, and I heard the fan kick on. I went, "Where have I been?"
When you picked that
I'm
up,
on the outside looking in.
you picked that Traeger up a week ago, about 9 days ago, correct?
Yeah, and I finally got to use it. I'm so busy with the kayak.
We were video shooting that night, and that we got you to do a video teaser with us.
I had fun with that. Yeah.
And you picked that Traeger up, and I was like, in my mind, I wanted to talk about that Traeger and get into that, but I was so focused on producing podcasts and getting them out. I was like, oh, I can't wait for him to get that thing home.
Yeah.
I'm smitten. I'm literally smitten.
And then I waited for 7 days. 7 days I waited, and there it was on the seventh day.
Yeah.
I rested, so that's why I had time
On the
to smoke.
seventh day,
Yep. That's
there
true.
was smoke.
You bring up a good point.
And I love that vid, the slow roll of the smoke coming out. And then I was like, cheese after cheese after cheese.
I ate so much
and
cheese
different
this week.
kinds of cheeses. And then when
I learned that from watching you.
when I
I
thought
learned it from watching you,
when
bro.
I thought I couldn't take it anymore with all the different kinds of cheeses, there's ribs at the very end.
Oh, no,
Catfish.
bro.
Yeah, they were like,
They're giant steaks cut out of the giant dough. They're giant back leg
Lord.
steaks.
I didn't.
There are 4 different muscles in there to make a giant rectangular steak.
I can't.
Was that-
I can't even talk anymore.
was that
now.
dough or was it a buck?
Holy cow!
It was a big buck. You're right.
And the smoke ring
nice-
that you
yeah.
put
Virginia
on
buck.
that
It
thing,
was a Virginia buck. You're right.
bud.
It melted.
Really?
When it first came out, I let it set for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I looked at it. I went, 3 hours. I started at 180. Plus, I cold smoked it for an hour with. I cold smoked it.
Isn't that stupid?
I cold smoked it with the cheese.
Yeah.
Set them in there.
Yeah.
And then I turned it on to 180 and I left it alone for an hour. I had to teach myself, you don't have to watch this one. It ain't going to blow you up.
No.
You
But
know
I
what?
kept looking out the window like Kermit the Frog, like,
How about it?
buddy, I need to check on you. And like, don't do it.
Operation Don't Lift the Lid.
Yeah.
Is
It's
one
tough.
of the taglines from the early days of Traeger.
Yeah.
Maybe that's part of the reason. The who is responsible for getting me to be a little bit more of a calmer person might be Traeger, because
lift
I've
the
learned
lid,
to
bud.
trust it.
Yeah.
Like, relax. You have an extra 10 minutes, Phil.
Don't
Don't
lift-
worry about it.
Don't lift the lid, bud.
Don't even,
I mean, the biggest mistake with the Traeger is thinking you've left that on too long.
Okay, well, here's the thing. I did that. I checked on it way too many times because I'm learning. It's my first run with it. However, after 3 hours, I brought this thing in and I went, checked the internal temp. It was medium well for Lacey, and the one was a little thinner. It was medium. That's the way I wanted it. I brought it in. I put it down. I went, it's dried out. It's dried out. And I put it on this big oval cutting plate, and I'm like looking at it, took a picture. I cut into it, and the floodgates opened, and like all these juices ran out all over the place. And I'm like, save that. We'll make gravy. Get it. And this is like a 3-foot wide oval plate.
yeah.
The juices were stuck in there. They were there. And it turned out to be mouth-watering. If you could have told me that was venison steak out of an older buck, like a big, rough buck, I'd have called you a liar.
Yeah, you'd have slapped somebody.
It's the next level.
It was. I took it to work, and the girls ate it who were like anti-hunters, and I was like, "It's steak," and they ate it. And then I never told them because I felt like it was going to cause a war. But I just wanted to see them eat it and go, and not say anything, because that proved to me. Now anybody's listening, they're like, "Oh, what a jerk! I can't believe he did it." You're right. I'll do it to you too. So, however, it was that good.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. This is what it's all about. Is just being able to share those moments and show those things, the things that make us, people, places, and things that make us better versions of ourselves, or make us more comfortable, or make us,
Guys, and we were worried about filling in a current during.
I said 25 minutes ago, let's end it because we could talk all night. And here we are.
And we were happy. We said we would be happy with 30 minutes, and we're an hour past that practically. At almost right now.
I'll get her down though.
I know. You'll whittle her down, but heck far.
I never told you about my new catfish and rod rack setup, or my rocket launcher tube that goes behind my seat. My new custom enclosed
Your
milk crate that I built.
It's like your kayak has been in with Q. Like in James Bond. Q is the dude that always did James Bond's gadgets and everything.
It's just like the Recruiter. Once I start, I have love for it.
Red light in the front, and it talks to him.
Yeah. Hello.
That was Knight Rider.
Hello, Shane. It calls you Shane, though. That's how.
Right, Michael.
It calls me what?
I know, exactly.
Vincent, maybe.
Yeah.
Hello,
right,
Shane.
Vincent.
Hello, Vincent.
Yeah, we know
It's
it.
time to hit the water now. Wake up. Come on, girl. Get your ass out here. You know you want to sit in my seat.
Right, Michael.
Well,
come on, Michael.
I think I could feel confident to even throw this out there tonight. I think we did this current some justice.
I think you're right, Bucky.
I really do. Catfish?
I'm ecstatic.
Do you think you could tell everybody how they can find us?
Probably not. I'm exhausted, but I'll give it a shot.
Sure.
I'll help you.
Here in Pennsylvania, it's only 2:30 in the morning because Bucky got sentimental and wanted to talk.
Yeah. The
about
empath in him
love.
wanted to talk.
You know what? Here, the thing is, you almost went there.
You
almost went full shaman.
We could have gone there tonight.
I saw it. I saw it coming.
I wanted to do it so bad.
I know it. I saw it.
And it was there. It was there for the taking.
If you didn't see it, I posted about it today. I could have used it. Did you see it?
Did you not see my? You didn't see my reply.
I haven't looked at it yet.
I saw it, but yeah.
I meant that picture hit home when I found that old frame picture of Alaska. I sat there and stared at it, and I thought maybe this is cliche to take a picture of me looking at my picture, but it's like a real moment. And then
you know what got me to respond?
Saying? But it was
hashtag Where's Phil?
You weren't supposed to see that. It wasn't for your eyes, Buck. It was for the rest of the world to know that you're a good brother.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm done with this. Where can you find us? You can find us at RuttenRiverPursuits.com. You can find us on the YouTubes at Rutten River Pursuits Podcast. And actually, while you're at it, you can find us on Instagram at Rutten River Pursuits.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you can find us on anywhere the podcasts are, actually.
All the best podcasts.
The best ones like iTunes and Apple Heart Radio and
Apple Heart Radio.
I love Apple Heart Radio.
Yeah,
no, you said iHeart Radio.
That's what I said.
iHeart Radio.
That's what I meant.
Apple Podcasts and
Apple
Spotify.
Podcast. Even on the Spotify's.
Yeah.
Yep.
Love them Spotify.
Yeah, find us there. And like I said earlier, guys, anybody like this is my closing thoughts. Anybody that knows how to do canvas for rooftop tent, please call me. That was like the whole take of the whole thing for me.
Slip into his DMs.
Yes.
At Darkwater737.
Get on
Anyhow, I'm just joking around. But we had a good night. Thanks for talking.
Peace.
I would imagine you could tell them to do what, Buck?
Rig 'em weedless.
I would.
Well, his name is Catfish.
And I love to drawings.
So there's a new batch. I love it when you ask me a question and it takes us 45 minutes to get to what's plugged into my battery box. That's a good current. Because, we're having fun.
Yeah.
I love you guys. I'm sorry. You're going to have people calling in unidentified
floating
object reports on this thing.
UFOs.
I'm serious. This, I can't wait to. I've seen pictures.
No, not yet. I haven't taken any pictures.
Anchor up with us.
Short of us needing to pass time until it gets warm enough for Uncle Buck to want to be on that river.
I don't know about past time till it gets warm. I'm going to be in 85 degrees next week.
I know you will, you cockroach, but this summer I will be in a kayak with you fishing catfish.